That all down, let's start off with this, shall we? Tom Cruise, some of you may know, has a new movie on the go called Deeper that he's doing with his Live, Die, Repeat, No Shoutouts Tomorrow, Punchies, No Takebacks movie that he did with Doug Liman a few years ago, Doug Liman. And that movie's called Deeper. And Deeper also is the movie he's doing with Ana de Armas. Well, according to the reports, that little movie has hit a little bit of a snag. And the snag is money, money, money. Because apparently Doug Liman and Tom Cruise want $275 million to make this movie. To put that into perspective, that's $55 million more expensive than the Superman movie was. Like, that's really high. Apparently, they're drawing a line in the sand at like 200, maybe. The different reports are saying different things, Rob. Some are saying that they want it down at 200. Some are saying 230. But it's gotten so bad now that according to the new reports, because we've heard like last month that they might have some budget fights going on with Warner Brothers. Well, apparently now it's so bad that they're saying director Doug Liman may have already left the project. They're saying Doug Liman now is already kind of putting feelers out there as far as what he wants his next film to be, because I guess for him now, his next film ain't going to be Deeper. So, Rob, I don't know, maybe that means Tom Cruise and Ana de Armas are going to break up now? I don't know. But look, this is yet another film we're hearing about that Warner Brothers is kind of drawing a line in the sand to say, we've got to start getting these budgets under control. We just talked the other day, Rob, about Michael Mann and his Heat 2, and that what did he want for that movie? 200 and something million dollars.
Yeah.
And Warner Brothers has said, no, we're not giving you that much money to make this movie. There's no way that's going to hit our break-even point. And they're saying much lower. And now here they are again saying, no, this is too much. And Rob, when you look at, listen, I like the new Mission Impossible movie. I do. Like, I had a good time with it. I don't think it's the best one, but I thought it was fun. But when you look at the box office that it made, that doesn't justify making a $275 million movie. I don't care if your name is Tom Cruise. Like, it just can't happen. Anyway, you're hearing about this story. Do you think Warner Brothers is just being cheap? Do you think they're being wise by saying you can't have that much? Hey, it's Tom Cruise, the guy who did Top Gun Maverick that made well over $1 billion. Give him whatever he wants. I don't know. What's your take on this?
Well, I think you're absolutely right, John. If you look at the last two Mission Impossible movies, you have to assume they both sort of underperformed. You have a friend, and I was able to speak with him at CinemaCon, who actually greenlights movies.
Yeah.
And for a studio. And, we were talking the economics of this, and you can't, a non-IP film, at $275 million, I think is wildly irresponsible. I mean, think about it. We're now living in a world where Tom Cruise just gets $200 million. How about he makes a movie? The example I always use is Steven Spielberg. When he made 1941 back in the late 70s, it went wildly over budget, and it didn't do very well. And when George Lucas hired Spielberg to direct Raiders, he said, look, you're going to get $20 million. You can't go over schedule. You got to work fast. And Spielberg changed his style accordingly and gave us one of the greatest movies ever made. And I think that you got to pull back on these budgets. You're making an undersea adventure. I mean, are you going to make it better than The Abyss or whatever? I mean, are you going to go do what James Cameron did? Jimmy C and looked at an empty nuclear power plant that was never finished. And he's like, yeah, let's go build a set in there and we can fill it with water and shoot for real underwater. And he did it. But he didn't need no $250 million, even though it was back in the late 80s. There's just too much money there. And there's no way, if you think about the break even, by your own Campea Classroom metrics, that's a lot of money just to break even. A studio can't do that. And Warner Brothers, under Pam Abdi and Mike DeLuca and David Zaslav are doing what studios should do and put their feet down and say, hey, we want to make a movie with you, but not for 250 million or 275. Make it for 175 million and we'll talk.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you can't make a movie for $175 million, you need to rethink the business you're in.
Especially if the word Avengers isn't at the front of it or is a massive thing like that. To your point about like break-even points and everything like that, Mission Impossible is a popular, celebrated IP. And this last one, they kind of heralded as the last hurrah, the final reckoning with the biggest stunts he's ever done. And it didn't make 600 million.
Nope.
Now it made like 580, 590, which a lot of movies would kill to make. But that box office of a long-running, popular, successful IP, and then you say, well, Tom Cruise and Ana de Armas together, nothing could go wrong. Really?
Coming off
Because
Ballerina?
Ana de Armas's last movie made $130 million and change worldwide. That's not to say she's not great. She is great.
Yeah.
But if you think just putting Tom Cruise and Ana de Armas in a movie that's a non-IP film with an unproven title, and you can just, I mean, listen, seriously, at $275 million, understanding Tom Cruise is going to demand a robust marketing budget, robust marketing budget. So let's put that at, say, like $125 million for a marketing budget. At minimum, by the way, you're now talking about a film that at minimum, at a $275 million budget, you're talking about a film that at minimum is going to require like $600 million plus just to break even. And Ana de Armas's last film didn't come anywhere near that. Nope. And Tom Cruise's last film didn't get to there. So I'm just wondering if you're Tom Cruise and his agent sitting in the office of Warner Brothers, Rob, what's your pitch to Warner Brothers to justify and try to get a $275 million budget?
I don't have a pitch. You know, I would say that if you gave me that much money, I'll make a trilogy. I mean, we'll amortize the cost and shoot them all at once. You'll get 3 movies for the cost of one. I mean, you just can't spend that kind of money on an untried property. You know, and I don't look, if Tom Cruise was smart, look, the last 2 Mission Impossible movies were not hugely profitable, if profitable at all, for Paramount. He should go make his Les Grossman movie for $75 million. That's what I would do.
Yep.
You know, I would go make
100 times. Yep.
Yep. You know, you go make a comedy for little money. You and McHugh go do it. You know, make it really funny, work with Ben Stiller, do whatever you have to do the Les Grossman movie, and then make that movie make $500 million. You know, turn it into a real event comedy, R-rated, hardcore, funniest movie you've ever seen, and the studio gets to make a lot of money and profit. That's what you got to do. You can't come off 2 Mission Impossible movies that cost huge. Those movies cost huge money. I mean, if you listen to what Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning might have cost, it could be one of the most, if not the most expensive movie ever made. So coming off that, why don't you go do something small and have fun, prove your box office worth, and then maybe come back and ask Warner Brothers. I mean, look, everyone's tightening their budgets these days. Everyone's trying to figure out how can we stay viable in this new world that we live in. And to ask for 275 million or whatever they're asking for is just
275 million. 275 million. And listen, actually, if you think historically, to your point, the last time Tom Cruise's career was in question, it was round about the time that Steven Spielberg's and his War of the Worlds came out. Mm. You know, the public was starting to sour on Tom Cruise a bit, whether it was all the Katie Holmes jumping on the couch stuff or the Scientology stuff or whatever it was. The public was starting to sour on Tom Cruise. And then came Tropic Thunder. And he did a role that a lot of people wouldn't picture Tom Cruise doing when he played Les Grossman. And he slayed it. He killed it. And just like that, he won everybody back over and it completely revitalized his career. maybe this is the time to go back to Les Grossman again. Again, a $590 million movie in Final Reckoning is nothing to sneeze at. But to your point, when you're one of the most expensive films of all time, yeah, maybe that's not it. Maybe it's go do Les Grossman again and get everybody back on board.
Well, I mean, and he's done, like, when he goes back and does movies, like I really liked American Made, which I also think he did with Doug Liman, where he
Very
played
good
this,
movie.
I really, really liked that movie. I thought he was terrific in it. And it was a great character role for him. I like to see him playing. He's a good actor, and giving him parts to play rather than, I mean, Ethan Hunt is more of an archetype than a character. But I love watching him emote. I can't get enough of things like Jerry Maguire and A Few Good Men and Born on the 4th of July. When I want to see him go back and that Les Grossman character, that was all him. When he told Ben Stiller, I want to have fat hands and dance, and he did it. And I would like to see that Tom Cruise. He killed it.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? So Warner Brothers, again, we were just talking about them saying no to Michael Mann for the budget he wants for Heat 2, and now they're saying no to Tom Cruise. And listen, I'm all for it. You got to start acting more financially responsible. You ain't going to break even with a $275 million movie on a totally unproven IP when Tom Cruise can't pull in $600 million. Again, that's a big number. I'm not taking anything away from that. But with a proven title like Mission Impossible, whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.